Hey guys, so surprise, surprise, we're gonna do another portrait today, but I think it'll be a fun one. It's a little bit different, and honestly, I've got portraits on the brain. I've got a couple other projects going on right now. I've got this one video that I'm working on where I'm trying to draw 100 faces just for practice, and that one's going pretty well and should be up maybe within the next week or so. Supposed to be able to give myself 10 days to do 100 faces, and that was super challenging. It's just a matter of editing now. But if you guys like the last video where I drew Sean Connery, James Bond, I happened to get that image out of this book here, The Art of Bond, and surprise, we're going to be drawing James Bond, Daniel Craig version, but with watercolors. So a few quick lessons on what I've found to be helpful with watercolors, and then we'll move on. So when we start off with watercolors, we want to dip the brush in water first and then just tap it onto the paint. And you never want too much paint, so I always put a little off to the side on a piece of scratch paper or cloth or whatever, and then usually that takes off enough to start with the painting process. And with this, you always want to think about negative space and where you want to keep the white areas. So I always start to think about the shadows first. If I want shadows off to the left bottom side here of the square, that's where I'm going to put most of the paint. And each time you're just going to go with a little bit. So layers, layers, layers. You can always add more paint, but you can never take it away. So really take into consideration where you're putting the paint, and always do it very, very lightly. There's another technique I like to use where I just put the water down first and then just dip the color into that water, and it'll kind of seep around and blend a little bit. This is pretty good effect for this little egg that I'm drawing here for practice. You can see the little speckles don't have hard lines, they're just saturated in the water. And then you can come back and do your darker areas and add different results. Once the water dries, you can go back to the first square technique and add more layers of paint. But now that we have that going, it's time to start the project. I'm going to start off drawing a pencil sketch here, and the pencil is nice. Watercolor always kind of looks good with pencil underneath it. I don't know, maybe it's just a style. People usually do that, but I think it looks kind of cool to see the underlying sketch of the watercolor. But once the sketch is finished, now we can start adding in the darkest areas first, and just really lightly keep on going with the darkest areas that I have here. Then you just keep repeating the process until eventually you'll have enough layers built up where it'll actually be a completed picture. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun with it, and it was kind of interesting to try and only use the watercolor medium. Usually I would add ink to fix mistakes or whatever, but this is just straight watercolor, and I think it's really cool. Color choices, everything just worked out really well. If you guys like this video, hit the like button. If you want me to do all the bonds, go ahead and leave a comment below, or leave a comment for any reason. And definitely subscribe. And we'll see you again next week. Thanks for watching. Bye.